Okay, it being 5 p.m., the Lafourche Parish Council meeting of January 14, 2020 is hereby called to order. Ms. Carleen, can you please conduct roll call?
Yes, sir. Chairman Oten.
Here.
Vice Chair Jones.
Here.
Councilman Adams.
Here.
Welcome aboard. Councilman Grow. Here. Councilman Melvin. Here. Councilman Wendell. Here. Welcome aboard. Councilman Perilou. Here. Councilwoman Boudreaux. Here. Welcome aboard. Councilman Lorraine.
Here.
Parish President Chasson. Here. Welcome aboard.
Very good. We have a full house. Thank you all for attending tonight. The invocation will be led by Mr. Daniel Lorraine. Pledge allegiance led by Mr. Jerry Jones. If everyone could please rise.
Just want to say that
Okay, once again, I'd just like to remind everyone, I know a few people just walking in, we do have blue sheets by the back door. If you're interested in addressing the council, you can fill out one of the blue sheets, bring it up to Ms. Carleen, our council clerk, so we can make sure that we recognize you. Although there will be a period where I ask for public input if you have not been able to add to make a note on the blue sheet. With that said, we'll move, Chairman's comments. I didn't realize that, Ms. Carleen, I skipped over that one. So I do want to recognize and thank the members of the legislative body for the work that they did in 2019. Ms. Carleen, Ms. Rachel, Ms. Tara. Tara's not here.
Yes, sir.
We were able to get caught up. We got far behind on minutes because we had some people that had moved on, and so I'm thankful for them to getting everything back straight, and we're pretty much caught up. So thank y'all very much for the work that y'all did. And I'd also would like to commend my fellow council members. In my opinion, we got quite a bit done in the last 4 years. The majority of the topics, whether it was ordinances or resolutions that came before this body, greater than 90% of those passed. So I think we do work together, contrary to sometimes what people may say. And for the new council members, I will just say that you're going to get a lot of calls that you will be unable to help the people. I can tell you probably 75% throughout every 4. Unfortunately, is civil issues, which are frustrating because you come into this role wanting to help the people, and unfortunately, there's just a lot of things that go on that are simply civil issues and not for government. But anyway, I welcome y'all, and all of the council members that are here are willing to work with you and assist you in any way, shape, or form. I'd also like to allow Vice Chairman, Mr. Jerry Jones, to say a couple of comments.
Yes, good evening. Mr. Chairman, it is with great pleasure from the Lafourche Parish Council of 2019 for your great accomplishment and dedication to this parish. And we as a council looking forward into your years of involvement in the next 4 years. So we like to present this to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. My fellow friends, I sure appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, with that said, let's get down to business. Item B, appointment of officers for 2020. The first meeting of every year, very first thing we have to do is elect a new chairman and a new vice chairperson. So that's what we're going to move to, item number 1. Nominations to select a chairperson for the Lafourche Parish Council for fiscal year 2020. I will entertain motions.
I'll move that we
Mr. Mike Grow.
I move to nominate Chairman Oten to remain, if he's so obliging.
I accept, and I respectfully thank you for nominating me. Mr. Daniel Lorraine.
Yeah, I'll move that we appoint Mr. Jones, and I'll tell you why.
Put your mic on.
Okay.
It's not going to pick him up.
Let me.
Good.
Mic's not on.
Jones is the
Mr.
Mike is not on.
Sorry, thank you, man. Mr. Jones is the co-chairman. Usually, it's 36 years that I've been sitting here, the co-chairman moves up. There's only one place to go, and that's up, not down. Okay? And it was screwed up last time by Mr. Lafont. He got a little greedy, so he got it one time, and then he wanted it again. But all the other 35 years that I've been here, it was the co-chairman up. Now, Mr. Jones has 24 years of service. He knows this parish from the front to the back versus 4 years. Think about that. And he has the experience. 24 years is not a little time. So I would ask that you would support Mr. Jones on being the chairman because he needs to go up.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Jones, you accept the nomination? Mr. Jones accepts the nominations. Are there any further nominations for chairperson 2020 of the Lafourche Parish Council? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Nominations are now closed for the chairperson of Lafourche Parish Council for 2020. We'll move it to a hand vote. All in favor of Armand Otin as the chairperson for Lafourche Parish Council of 2020, please raise your hands. 6. Let the record reflect 6 yeas, those being Councilman Grow, Councilman Otin, Councilman Melvin, Councilman Wendell. Am I saying it right, Jim? Councilman Wendell, Councilman Perlew, and Councilwoman Boudreaux. And 3 nays, that being Councilman Adams, Councilman Jones, and Councilman Lorraine. With that said, the motion passes. Thank y'all. I appreciate the nomination, and I appreciate that.
Just like to say congratulations, Noonie.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. I appreciate that. We've been long friends, and we'll continue to be good friends. With that said, nominations to select a vice chair for Lafourche Parish Council for the fiscal year 2020 are now open. Mr. Perlew.
I'd like to nominate one of our colleagues that has yet to serve in a leadership role, but I think he's done a great job on the council in the last 4 years, Mr. Aaron Melvin.
Mr. Melvin, do you accept that nomination?
I do.
Mr. Melvin accepts that nomination. Mr. Adams, you have the floor. Who you
Yes,
like to
I would
nominate?
like to nominate Mr. Daniel Lorraine. I mean, guy's been here since Louisiana Purchase. 36 years of experience on the council. You know, I think some experience around here would do us some good.
Very good. We're glad you're getting involved quick and early. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Yeah, are there any further nominations for vice chairman? Right now we have Councilman Melvin and Councilman Lorraine. Any further nominations for council chairperson, Lafourche Parish Council 2020? No further nominations. At this time, we'll go ahead and close those nominations. We'll move it to a hand vote. All those in favor of Councilman Melvin serving as co-chair for Lafourche Parish Council for fiscal year 2020, please raise your hands. By a vote of, we have 5 yeas and 4 nays. So Mr. Melvin is elected. The yeas are Councilman Grow, Councilman Otin, Councilman Melvin, Councilman Wendell, and Councilman Perlew. Congratulations, Mr. Melvin. Look forward to working with you. Are we clear with that, Ms.? Yes, sir. And once again, we'd like to congratulate the others that were nominated. Mr. Jones and I have been real good friends, and so I know we'd be good to go. Thank you for that, Mr. Jones. And once again, thank you, Mr. Adams, for getting involved quick and early. Good deal. Okay, with that said, we will move to item C, approval of minutes. Number 3, motion to accept the minutes of December 10, 2019 regular session. I entertain a motion. Moved by Councilman Jones, and I get a second by Councilman Perlew. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 9 yeas and 0 nays. Item D, certificate of recognition. The parish president, Archie Chesson, to present a certificate of recognition to the Central Lafourche High School Band. Mr. Archie, you got the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to let Councilman Wendell do the heavy lifting on this because this originated from him. But as a proud Central alum, I can't tell you how honored we are tonight to have Mr. Willie Martin and Mr. Chris Arnold and some of their students with us to present the certificate of recognition for them.
I've worked several years with the Central Lafourche Band program through different public service agencies, and I really enjoy their program. I see the kids come in and what they end up being when they leave, so that's something to be very proud of. I'll read the certificate from the parish president. It says Certificate of Recognition, State of Louisiana, Parish of Lafourche. On November 9th, 2019, The Central Lafourche High School Trojan Lancer Band competed in the 2019 Louisiana Showcase of Marching Bands State Championship and won Grand Champion, beating over 30 other marching bands in the state. Now, therefore, I, Archie Chasson III, Parish President of Lafourche Parish, do hereby recognize the Central Lafourche High School Trojan Lancer Band for their hard work and extended best wishes for the band's success in all future endeavors. I'd like to echo that as well. You guys have an awesome program. I have a sister who is a band director as well, and I'm a former band geek from way back, and we never beat out Lafayette, Como, any of those guys. So, you know, what you guys went up there and did just shows to the quality of your program. So I'll begin to walk down there to present this to you guys if you want to come up, if anybody else wants to chime in and say anything.
Yeah, I certainly want to congratulate. It's a heck of a milestone to reach. And I also want to thank Jim, because Councilman Jim is often out there with the bands, assisting them during parades, et cetera. So I thank you for his time as well. Archie, do you want to join them? I'd strongly, yeah, if you don't mind, let's the entire council. Corey, go ahead, you have the floor.
Yeah, I want to also acknowledge the, he's in charge of the entire Lafourche Parish music departments throughout the parish. Mr. Jim Trent is also here. So thank you, Jim, for your leadership.
Yeah, another music geek.
I'm still a music geek.
Oh, let's go this way.
Yeah, let's go this way.
Okay, now record again.
Okay, congratulations again to that group. Outstanding achievement. Okay, with that said, I don't think we have anything on the item E. So it brings us up to item F, which is executive session. I'll entertain a motion, and I'll continue to read it. We've got a motion by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Grow, to enter into executive session for the following: Jackson versus Lafourche Parish Government, docket number 2018-002, Lafourche Parish Government versus Jackson, docket number 1734045, we'll have the entire council, parish president, district attorney Christine Russell, and assistant district attorney Lisa Ogeron participate. Anyone else we need in there? So that's who will participate. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Just for the audience, there'll be a slight recess while we're in executive session. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to reconvene this meeting. We've got a motion by Councilman Adams, seconded by Councilman Jones. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we have a motion on the floor, correct me if I'm wrong, by Councilman Jones, for Jackson versus Lafourche Parish Government, docket number 2018-002, Lafourche Parish Government versus Jackson, docket number 1734045. And that is to take all the agreed-upon discussed items in the executive session. Is that your motion, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
We're good? Got a second by Councilman Adams. Any further discussion on that? We'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 9-0, Ms. Carleen. Was that good, District Attorney? We're good? Thank you. Appreciate that. We appreciate you being here to assist us with that tonight. Okay, we'll move to item G, which is action from executive session, which is partly what we just did, but this is a resolution. So this will be a resolution approving to settle and issue payment on all claims by Renita Jackson for the agreed-upon amount in the executive session on behalf of Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. This is by Councilman Jones for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. Any further discussion? If not, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 9-0. Item H, presentations and/or updates. Ms. Charlene Rodriguez, Executive Director for Lafourche Council on Aging Incorporated, present an annual report. Hello, Ms. Charlene, and please don't forget to turn the mic on.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlene Rodriguez, Executive Director of Lafourche Council on Aging. Once a year, we're asked to present what we've done and what we plan on doing for the next couple of years. In front of you, you have my cord. You also have our orange brochure. This brochure will guide you on exactly what Lafourche Council on Aging does and what we continue to do. Who we are a 501c3 nonprofit agency that provides nonprofit medical supportive services to senior citizens to allow them to age in their home with dignity and respect in a manner of their choice. What we do, we clean houses, we deliver meals, we have the medical alert button from Lafourche Ambulance and Acadian On Call. We go and outreach them to see what services they qualify for, give them information and assistance. We have meals at our senior citizen sites, nutrition education, utility assistance, transportation, Medicare Part D, that's whenever they, October 15th through December 7th, when it's open enrollment, we help the participants to find the special drug plan for them that's best for what their needs are. We assist with applying for food stamps, Medicaid, low-income subsidy, and Medicare savings program. You'll see our funding that comes from our ad valorem tax, FTA, GOEA grants, Help Your Neighbor, participant contributions, fares, and our total income and expenses. You also have a copy of our advisory board and board of directors rosters. You also have in your packet our last year, what our proposed services were and what we met throughout the whole year. You also have in your packets the Bayou River District Senior Olympic Games, which is, we're taking registrations now. If anyone who's 50 years of age or older who wants to participate in our Senior Olympic Games, they could contact our office for the forms. This past year, last year, for Medicare Part D, we saw over 650 clients. That's two of us between October 15th and December 7th. This year, we saw over 700-something. Last year, we saved over $510,000. So this is an important program, as well as the meals for the participants. I was also asked to let the seniors know, too, since it's televised, on Medicare, what preventive services and screenings that Medicare provides. If you just have a second, it won't take me long. They provide screening for aortic aneurysm screenings, alcohol misuse screenings and counseling, bone mass measurements, cardiovascular disease screenings, cardiovascular disease for behavioral therapy, cervical and vaginal screening for cancer, colon screenings, flu shots, hepatitis B, and pneumonia shots, tobacco use cessation counseling, and they also provide for a yearly wellness visit. Anybody have any questions? I know I went by this fast, but I know y'all got a lot of things y'all need to do. So y'all have copies, y'all have my cord, you have any questions? I'm normally available.
Councilman Adams.
Yeah, I just have a question. I'm just trying to understand that. I see your total income is 2.8 and your total expenses are 2.9, so you're not getting enough?
Yes, we are.
You are?
We
Okay,
do.
I was,
And we do have enough in the savings to carry us over for a year in case of an emergency.
okay, that was just checking.
Very good. Councilman Grow.
Is your board full, or y'all accepting new board members right now?
Right now, I just saw the town of Golden Meadow as of April of this year. That board member has to come off and one to serve, that covers the sheriff's office. We
So
have
2 openings coming up.
2 openings, right. We have what represents our center, our agency is 1 person from each senior citizen center throughout the parish is 9, 1 representative from the district attorney's office, the 3 municipalities, and the sheriff's office.
Thank you.
Okay. But if you know
Councilman Grow?
anybody who may be interested in serving on our board, let us know, because you never know.
Anyone, Mr. Jim?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Charlene. When I saw this on the agenda, I did some research on Lafourche Council on Aging. I just want to thank you and your staff for what you do. Usually the aging, seniors, special needs are the forgotten, and it seems like you guys are really thinking outside of the box, using grant funding and different things for programs to maintain, dignity and respect for individuals, and I appreciate that, and thank you.
Thank you. And I also recently, I'm on a trial basis right now with 2 of my center managers, 1 in Thibodeau and 1 in Lockport, to go full-time from, let's say, January 20th to maybe July 17th. I'm trying to see if they'll have more participation at the senior centers. I offered Golden Meadow, but the people say to go in the afternoon and take a nap.
Mr. Lorraine?
Yes, on that tax, that's the whole parish, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
all the municipalities?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. So my question would be, do you have any money saved?
Yes, sir, we do.
Can we get an amount?
Yes, sir, I can. I'll give you that amount as soon as I get with my financial person.
Okay, but there is probably a substantial amount of savings.
There is an amount to cover us for at least a year for an emergency.
But I could
fund.
remember when you first started, you were
Had
getting
nothing.
$10,000 here, $10,000 there. Now that you got that tax,
That's right.
but there is some talk that the parish wants to streamline some of these millages. Of course, you're never gonna fool with the senior citizens. I wouldn't do
hope
it.
not.
But I always told them it's easier said than done. I want to see them. Let me ask you a question. If you cut 2 meals, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it goes to 1? You'd run into problems?
Yes, we would.
Thank you for telling me that. I hope they heard that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Charlene, I want to thank you because I know you specifically, as well as your organization, when there are people that fall through the cracks or you can't cover them because of some government legal issue, you do reach out to nonprofits and you hustle as much as you can to help the people.
Right.
And so I thank you for that,
Thank
as well as your staff.
We do refer them, so yes, and we follow up to make sure they were serviced also, so thank y'all.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Charlene.
Thank you.
Brings us to item I, Legal Advisor Report. We are honored tonight to have Lafourche Parish District Attorney, Ms. Christine Russell, here to address the Lafourche Parish Council. You have the floor, Ms. Christine.
Good evening. I will be extremely brief tonight, but I want to stand before you to congratulate all of you once again on an honor to serve the parish of Lafourche. And to you, Mr. President, congratulations. The staff of the District Attorney's Office is really looking forward to working with all of you to move this parish forward. To the new council members, I know you've met Ms. Lisa Ogeron, an Assistant District Attorney who leads that civil department. We also have Assistant District Attorney Joseph Soignet, who you have not met, who cannot be here tonight. He also assists us in the civil department. Please know that we are always here to help you. We're here to guide you. As your legal advisors, we will be at every meeting. Either myself or Ms. Ogeron will be here to give either a report or to make sure that we answer any questions that you may have. Our office and our doors are always open for you. 2020 is a year for a fresh start. It's an opportunity for all of us to commit, to clean the slate and begin again. And with a fresh start comes that word hope. And with hope, I know we can move this parish forward. Because all of you know, and we can agree, that the people of this parish deserve that. So again, thank you for allowing me to stand before you. Again, congratulations, and I look forward to a great year working with you.
Anyone have any questions for the District Attorney's Office? Very good. Everyone's quiet tonight. Once again, thank you, Ms. Christine Russell. Item J, Engineers Architect Reports. Anyone brave enough to confront this council? And we got one. All right, Mr. Jack Plaisance, you have the floor. Hopefully you got good news for us.
And a good evening to you all. Jack Plaisance, 115 Picciola Parkway with Picciola and Associates. So I have 4 projects to report on this evening. 2 are projects we're doing engineering work on, and 2 more where we're doing construction management. Can you forward the slide, please? First engineering project is Road Sales Tax District 2, Phase 4L. This is roadway and drainage improvements. This is District 7, 8, and 9. We began construction back in August and are nearing the end of the project. We anticipate that Huey Stockstill, our contractor, will finish close to the February 26th completion date. We've processed 4 change orders so far, adding and deleting streets at the request of the administration and working with the councilman. And things are going well. So you have a picture here from December, East 90th Street, Galliano, road paving and drainage improvements. Next slide, please. Our second engineering project in District 2 is the Choctaw Levee rehabilitation and permitting. This is an ongoing permitting task for us to assist the parish. This goes back to a levee that was constructed several years ago, and we've so far gotten the DNR permit back in 2018, and we're working with the Corps of Engineers now to receive the final Corps of Engineers permit. So basically what's going on is there's going to be areas in here that will be brought back to the natural condition. That's the southern area that's colored in green and blue and yellow. And then on the northern portion of the area, the existing levee is going to remain as it's built. There's also some roadway improvements on Choctaw Road, and the red item, which you can kind of see, is a new tie-in levee near that pipeline canal. So that's the 2 engineering projects. I'll kind of quickly go through the Gustav and Ike CDBG program. So these are grants that were issued several years back, and we are working with engineers on these projects along with the parish. There's no slide to look at, but I'll tell you a little bit about them. The Dugas Canal drainage improvements, this is with David Waits Engineering and Surveying, and Byron Talbot is the contractor. This consisted of drainage improvements in the Thibodeau area, specifically Bayou Country Club subdivision. BET was substantially complete back in September. There are a few punch list items remaining. There's going to be a balancing change order brought to your board at the next council meeting to balance quantities and also to add contract time. That would be at the January 28th meeting. And we met with the new staff and discussed some of the outstanding items on the project and anxious to resolve any items that may require such. The second project in that CDBG grant program is the Lafourche Community Center in Lockport. This is another project that's probably about 80% complete. Onshore construction, local contractors continuing with mechanical work, interior painting, other miscellaneous items, concrete parking lot continues. So the job is contracted to complete on January 12th. That's passed. The contractors be on time. Duplantis has prepared and submitted a change order to add additional time, which this change order would show up on the next council meeting, January 28th, for consideration by the council. So that's the update on our projects that we're working on. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to try and answer.
Okay, Mr. Adams, you have the floor first, sir.
I was wondering, you said you're gonna do some road work in Choctaw because of the levee. So what exactly will you do to the road?
The project goes back to to previous flooding events, specifically one in 2012 where flooding waters from the south side of the road were going over Choctaw Road and into some neighborhoods. So the concept is to remove a portion of levee and replace that with elevated asphalt. So I believe it's probably 3,000 or so feet of Choctaw Road from the St. James Canal coming north, or I guess to the northwest. So about 3,000 feet of road. It's not a tremendous elevation, but maybe anywhere from 0 to 1.5 feet of asphalt.
So you have like a hump to go up?
You'd have a gradual slope to get to the proper grade, and then the road would be level out to the St. James Canal.
Okay, I mean, I know what you're talking about because they put houses there where they shouldn't.
Correct.
And the
That's right.
levee right there. So you're gonna push the levee back? You're gonna,
Can we go back to that
yeah,
slide,
I
please,
can't really
Gretchen?
see it from right here either. Again, this is my first project I'm looking
Yeah,
at, so.
and again, we want to be available to sit and discuss all of these projects. There's a lot to talk about on this one. Maybe the last slide.
Because this one has come up before to me, so.
Yeah,
Yes,
and Archie,
yeah.
I don't know if you have any impending, meetings with Jack regarding this project, but I would certainly encourage you, I would request that you include Mr. Adams, since it's such a complex and involved a lot of money and potentially a lot more money.
Yeah.
So the colored area is the southern part of the levee. The levee runs along the backside of the slide. So the gray hatched area is going to remain as it is today. The pipeline canal that kind of cuts across from east to west, right, kind of separates the rehabilitation area from the area where the levee will remain. So the colored areas you can see include a blue colored levee, yellow behind that, I'm sorry, the yellow is the levee and the blue is the water near it. So that entire yellow levee system is going to be degraded and brought back to the natural condition. We'll fill in the blue canal with the levee material and probably need to bring in some additional fill to get the proper grades. That back area is going to be replanted, cypress tupelo, and monitored for permitting purposes. So, like I said, the area where there are residents will remain as it's built. That entire area that's going to be brought back to the natural condition, there are no residents in that area. It was a cypress tupelo swamp, and it would be brought back to that condition.
And still the biggest item with that is still the determination by the Corps of Engineers for what's going to be required, correct?
Correct. The DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, had a very small mitigation requirement due to their jurisdictional duties at that time. They really didn't have jurisdiction over the area, so the only thing that they were concerned about was the new work, which is a small part. But the Corps of Engineers, of course, did have jurisdiction, and one of the large costs is going to be to not only replace the condition, but to mitigate for those 9 acres of permanent impacts.
That's a scary one. Anything else, Mr. Adams?
That's it, thank you.
Good? All right, very good. Mr. Melvin?
Hey, Jack, real quick, I know that there's a few things left over from the Dugas Canal project, and I already spoke to the hopefully soon-to-be confirmed DPW director about going and have a look at some of these things, a couple of which, some of these deep canals, especially in somebody's backyard, paralleling Parkside on the left, in between the water district and the houses.
Correct.
Some of the stuff is caving in, okay? The one off of Percy Brown's caving in, but we're looking at to cement that, so I'm not talking about that, that's not part of the Dugas Canal project, but if you see that huge clumps of mud pouring in, it's kind of what we have paralleling Parkside behind the houses, between the houses and the water district, okay? So, I'm just letting you know, we're probably gonna be hopefully having a look at this soon, and look, I know some of that's, the Estons, it's the leftovers, okay? But, I want this project in my rearview mirror but I don't want to leave anything undone that we can still have a
Right,
look at.
I'm aware of those items, and we certainly want to put those to bed in a proper, acceptable manner.
Thanks.
Very good. Anyone else have anything for Mr. Jack? Once again, I want to thank you as being one of the few engineers that appear in front of this full council, so thank you again, Jack.
Glad to do
Appreciate
that.
it. Okay, any other engineers, architects?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just, for you guys, for the engineers and architects, starting at the first meeting in February, we are going to have a dedicated schedule. So you're going to see more of them actually here reporting on their projects than probably what you've seen in the past.
Excellent. Thank you, Archie. We appreciate that. And if by any chance they have any documentation, if they can send us before the meeting for us to review, that would be great, instead of at the meeting. Okay, with that said, we'll move to item K, public wishing to address the council, public hearings, agenda items, et cetera. Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Larry Shrigley, if you'd approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Mr. Shrigley, remember you have 3 minutes.
My name is Larry Shrigley. I live at 210 Mary Beth Avenue, Bayou Blue. I'm going to make this brief. I was here last year. Some of you remember me. I'd like to welcome the new parish president and new council members, especially our new parish, our council member District 5. I think everybody in Bayou Blue is very happy about that. When I spoke here last time, it was about an ordinance passed with the speed limit on Terre Haute and Mary Beth. And the biggest issue wasn't so much the speed limit as it was the notification process, and people didn't know about it, and they didn't find out about it until after it took place. I spoke to the last interim council member. I spoke to Mr. Jim about this as well. Without going into a whole lot of detail about this, because we've already discussed some path forward to this, I did present the last council member a petition that was pretty much signed by over 75 or 80% of the people on both streets that basically said, and I mentioned this once before, that they just wanted the opportunity to bring this back to a discussion before it went into effect. Well, it's already gone into effect, so there's not much we can do about it now unless it's reintroduced or something else is done. The other comment that came up throughout our both of our streets, there's actually several little offshoots of that street as well, was what was done in order to get the ordinance on the ballot or on the agenda in the first place. And doing the research, going back and looking at the code of ordinances and the engineering studies or traffic studies that need to be done, I contacted Sheriff Weber. I spoke to him himself. I talked to Mr. Foreman with the sheriff's office, and no study had ever been done on our street dating back for over 10 years. And then I contacted the parish government to find out had there been any engineering studies done, and nothing was done there either. And I'm not going to say what the last councilman told me when I asked why that wasn't done, but I will leave this with you and you can read for yourself. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm not going to go that way. And like I said, we have spoken to Mr. Jim. I encourage everybody on our streets to speak to him. And in the future, and this is just a suggestion, that I realize that most of the ordinances that are passed are parish-wide ordinances, but there are several ordinances, especially this one, and several others that I've read in the past minutes that affect a very small section of any given district. And with the social media that's available now and just word of mouth and having your own representative or of that district contact people locally to say, look, we're putting this on the agenda, because nobody knew about it. Not everybody gets on and looks at the parish webpage. I do a lot more now than I ever have before. And
Somebody relinquish 3 minutes. Mr. Perillo, you can continue for another 3 minutes.
So, my point is that if there's something that's that unique and that's central to just one particular area, if there's any way that the parish council can talk directly to those people. Now, Mr. Jim, he's already talked to me about this and willing to get on our Facebook pages and notify us of upcoming agendas that specifically target, or not target, but have to do with one general area in his own district. And I think that would alleviate a lot of the issues. And, it does sound like he's willing to work with us and get the studies done that need to be done. It's kind of putting the toothpaste back in the tube, but at least it sounds like it's going to be done the right way this time. And that's about all I got to say. So,
Okay, and I think, so when you're saying that it's done the right way, so you're implying that it was done the wrong way. There's no definitive way of defining that study. That study doesn't say it has to be this, so I don't know that it was done the wrong way. You may like it to be done a different way, I think is what you meant to say.
right, well, what I was trying to get at was when I asked for the information that was used in order to make that determination, nothing was available. And I was one of several people on our street that tried to get that information from either the interim council member, the parish government themselves, or through the sheriff's department. You know, Craig Weber and his guys have been excellent, and they've been helping us try to guide us on what to do. Obviously, they can't do that. They don't make the rules. They don't make the laws. They just enforce them. So,
Yeah, the only reason I mention that is just I want all the council members to understand that it says it has to be a study, but it doesn't have to be a written document. There's no definition of the study, so it's open to interpretation.
Right.
So your interpretation is that it should be a lot more than, and I think that's what you're
I
expressing.
think it was, yeah, the more of lack of why he made that determination to do what he did was,
Understood.
I think, what our residents really wanted, so.
Okay, because I'm not aware of any other issues going on like that right now, other than your specific issue right now.
But
Mr. Grove?
it could open up some issues, and parish president may be able to speak on this as well, because it's prior life, or maybe it's prior to life. In the city of Thibodeau, you have to do a study. I've talked to people, I have had constituents that overlap with the city limits, and over there, the council has taken a stance that they won't reduce or increase the speed limit without going through a traffic study done by the city. And I've had issues, you know, he talked earlier, Chairman Otan, about civil matters and all. We shouldn't be handing out speed limit changes just because somebody calls you because somebody's speeding.
Right.
You know, and sometimes when the study comes out, it's not favorable. I had one, you know, in a car line area that it'll never go 25. It'll always be 17 or 4 miles an hour during school zone. But if somebody's going 25, it's too fast. So I think we should look at that when we get some department heads in about, you know, outside of the children at play and signs like that you really should probably do right away for safety. We probably should involve the sheriff's department more because we get in a pickle on both sides. You know,
Yeah,
obviously somebody wanted the sign.
Well,
and it wasn't you.
And just 9 years ago, this same council voted to change the speed limit back to 25, but I couldn't find any documentation on that either. And
They're not free. I mean, those signs are not
I
cheap,
understand.
and that's something we really need to look at as a fiscal responsibility, I think.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Grove. Mr. Jim?
Mr. Larry, thank you for coming out, representing District 5, so definitely appreciate that. I have spoken to you on the phone about this. I've also spoken in detail with Mr. Bollinger that lives on Mary Beth as well, where he has the past petitions, past presentations that he shared with me. We've talked in great detail about that. And I have been contacted by at least 25 other residents on the street. This is definitely one of the hot topic items in Bayou Blue. My promise to you, just to let you know where I stand. I have viewed the petition. I do have the information that you provided in form of a flyer with all the information that states all the facts that was passed out to residents as the petition circulated through the neighborhood. I did contact Lieutenant Foreman with the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office to get an official written response to a traffic study. He did respond to my request and say that we were put on the list. There are a few other areas that they're working on some things, but we are on the list, so that should be forthcoming in the very near future. My promise to you, I will take a look at that traffic study. I have meetings with some more residents on the street. I don't know if we need to get together and have a meeting with the street like we do in some of the other areas, just to air it out and have some discussion. But once I get to the bottom of it with what the sheriff's office recommends, because of speed, because of street conditions, because of lighting, because of those different things, I will put something together and bring it back before this council, because there obviously needs to be some more discussion about it. It's creating a battlefield and a war within the neighborhood, and before things escalate past the point of no return, we definitely do need to address it and make sure that what's fair for everyone is considered. But I don't feel it would be just to bring it to administration or this council without, you know, doing the due diligence of the homework. So I did request the official traffic study. When that comes in, I have all the other documentation that was presented, and my promise to you is we will discuss it and try to move forward with a amicable solution that's favorable for everyone that it affects.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Same thing with, you talked about specific areas. If there's something in District 5 and if there's something specifically on your street, we discuss some of the channels, and I'm going to go about making sure that everyone is aware so that we all have a voice, not only within our area, within our community, but within the parish. Once again, thank you, sir, for coming out. I will work on that for you, and, we'll definitely address it with this council as soon as all the facts are in.
And I thank you. for that.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
I'd
Anyone
like
else have
to-
anything?
I can't leave a copy of this?
Absolutely. We're into the minutes, if you want to give.
Part of the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. you
Well,
hand it-
it's up to you if you want to or not. It's a summary. This was basically the same thing I gave to you.
I would-
It's,
I would recommend you get that to Mr. Jim versus the minutes.
yeah, he already
If-
has a copy of it.
Okay,
So-
excellent.
All right, great.
But once again, thank you for coming to engage the full council. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Next, Ms. Corleen?
Mr. Frank Palm, if you'd come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Palm. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Frank Palm, 223 Maxine Boulevard. Thanks, good evening. Thanks for allowing me to address the council and our councilman, James Wendell. I'm here tonight representing the Woodland Heights Homeowners Association.
Yeah, I don't think it's on.
She's not picking it up.
You got it? Okay. All
If
right.
you don't mind, if you could please repeat your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. Frank Palm, Palm, 223 Maxine Boulevard in Gray, Louisiana. Okay. And thanks for allowing me to address the council and our councilman, James Wendell. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Woodland Heights Homeowners Association. I'm the president. I have some of my officers and residents on our street, in our group here in the back. I want to describe our neighborhood just a little bit. Maxine Boulevard, it's one street in, one street out. It connects to Highway 316, Bayou Blue. And a few years ago, '86, the residents participated with the council and we had our street paved. Each lot owner paid several $1,000s to get the street paved. So we have a boulevard. The residents maintain the boulevard. We have a Woodland Heights home sign up in the front, right at the entrance on Highway 316. We have a neighborhood watch association. We bought the signs. We have those posted on the boulevard as well. So anyway, just trying to give you a picture. It's 40 homes. Everybody knows everybody. We watch out for each other, and we have a real tight sense of community. Back in '81, a subdivision came up on the west side of us, and they wanted to tie in, connect our streets. We have 2 cross streets, 2 intersections. They're very short streets, they're gravel streets, and basically they're the driveway to the lot owners that live on the corners. So when that neighborhood wanted to tie in, we, back then it was a police jury, we went before them and we got them to approve a variance to an ordinance 1225, and they stopped the connection of the side streets. Today, the same situation has come up on the west side of us. There was a cow pasture back then for many years, and it's been recently purchased. The owners want to develop it, and we don't object to any development, and we're not trying to deny them access. Their property has a road that goes all the way to Highway 316. It already has a culvert on it. But what they want to do is come through our neighborhood, Maxine Boulevard, and make a right-hand turn in one of those small streets. They want to,
Some relinquish, Mr.
that was
Jim.
quick.
That was 3 minutes.
I'll be
Seems
quick.
quick.
I'll get right
You're
to
doing
it.
good. You're doing good.
Okay, so they want to put in a culvert. They've already talked to the parish, and the parish says, yep, as far as they're concerned, it's a go, they can do it, there's nothing to stop it. So I told them that we oppose it. I have a petition signed by 3 pages of signatures here, 47 signatures. I have a copy of the variance that was approved back in '81 to not connect the side streets. So the situation has come up again, and so I'm asking the council, or councilman, whatever you can do to prevent our neighborhood from doubling. We don't want it to double in size. That property is just as big as our entire neighborhood, so it's got the potential to double. We don't want to see that. We want to maintain our safety of our street, our children, and our quality of life, which we like just the way it is right now. You know, our neighborhood's also getting younger. We have 5 families that just moved in the last 2 years, all with children. That's it.
Mr. Jim?
Mr. Frank, once, like I just told Mr. Larry, thank you for coming out. For so long, we've not had a voice in District 5, and it seems like we're finally, gaining some traction and moving forward, but we do have several issues that need to be addressed. I see you have the Palm family, the Moore family, and the Dupre family here. As well as they do, I've worked with you guys for the last 6-8 years with quality of life programs through the Sheriff's Office. I'm very familiar with your neighborhood and all the residents. We're all on a first-name basis. You guys host a Night Out Against Crime party, so I'm very familiar with what goes on there. The maintenance that you guys do on the boulevard, on the right-of-way, you maintain that, the plants, the trees, the signs. You guys really have a great little street. Just to tell you exactly where I am with that, I do have a copy of your petition that shows in the 80 percentile where the neighborhood is opposed to it. I do have copies of the old ordinances from 81, 86, the different things that you and I have discussed in the past, as well as I've also gotten 4 or 5 other phone calls, and a lot of people, when I went down the street, actually stopped me to talk to me about this as well. I have been researching this for about the last month and a half. The council clerk has provided me with a lot of this documentation that I've requested. I briefly, unofficially discussed it with administration just to get their thoughts. I've also spoken to several people within the Public Works Department that have a hand in permitting and applications and different things in the setup of subdivisions and everything, and I'm getting feedback from there. This is another situation where I understand and I can side with you where you want to preserve the quality of life and the small town thing, especially since all the younger kids are moving into the neighborhood. I do understand that. I have also, the people who purchased the property have also contacted me actually today to set up a meeting tomorrow. So I will get with them also to determine what their intentions are, what the plans are. I do have all your documentation. As soon as I get a little bit more feedback from some of the parish officers, I will contact you again so we can see if that's something that needs to come to the council or exactly, what can happen. As you know, I was recently elected, very new to this. If somebody else who has a little bit more experience wants to chime in with something that may have happened in their area, but my promise to you is that your quality of life and your neighborhood safety has been important to me for 6 to 8 years, and it continues to do so. So we'll take a look at this. We'll leave no stone unturned, and hopefully by the time this comes to an end, we can, have some resolution that benefits both parties so that everyone can coexist as neighbors. So thank you for coming out, and I see some more lights on, so we may be able to get some feedback from those guys as well. All right.
Thank you, Councilman Jim. Councilman Grove?
I was just looking on Google Maps, and I guess it's you and Maxine?
Yes.
It's the one, like, going further away from 90? Is that right?
Maxine and Amber.
Okay. Has it gone to the planning commission at all, or this is just early stages and y'all hearing rumblings?
No, I haven't, no,
Okay.
I just,
So a lot of times they'll go there first, and then they'll give a recommendation, and then, we can have meetings here where you guys can come out and talk about why you against it, so, but I appreciate you coming, but it sounds like it's real early on in the stages of planning and development, so.
right, yeah. I mean, they're already using, they're cutting hay there right now. It's an agriculture land, 73 acres, and they've been cutting hay, and they're coming across, jumping the ditch and coming across right through the neighbor's driveway.
Yeah, so my experience with the cross streets is that if they're owned by parish government, we have not been able to restrict people from accessing their property off of those cross streets. But from what it sounds like you're saying, it's a private street. It's not a government street. So there may be some restrictions if I understood you correctly.
Yeah, I think it is a public street, actually. It's the Maxine, and then there's those two corner
It's
side
actually not an
streets.
entire street, it's just an apron, and then it turns to gravel for a couple of 100 feet till it reaches the property line.
I got you. I just want to say, off the subdivision, we have some nice subdivisions down in the rows, And the cross streets, unfortunately, we haven't been able to restrict access by residents of the parish because it's public all the way up to the edges of the property. But anyway, that's just my experience. So it sounds like Mr. Jim's going to hit the ground running for you. Certainly, I would encourage you to talk to Tony Bro and the parish administration permits to try to see where we stand on that, Jim.
Right.
Thank you for engaging us. Continue to engage us till we get it resolved.
All right, I appreciate it. Any support you can give us, another variance, whatever you need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frank.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Carleen. That ends our public wishing to address the council. We'll move now to item L. I will entertain a motion. It was a public hearing ordinance for ratification. I'll entertain a motion to open public hearing. A motion by Councilman Pearl, second by Councilman Melvin. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 9, ordinance approving the attached servitude agreement between David J. Constant Jr. and Lafourche Parish Council and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement. This will be moved by, are you willing to move, Mr. Adams, for the administration? Got a second by Councilman Jones. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this? One time, two times, three times? Anyone from the council wants to discuss this? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 10, ordinance approving the attached servitude agreement between David J. Constant, Tina O. Constant, and Lafourche Parish Council, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement. Mr. Adams moves for the administration. Councilman Jones seconds that motion. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this? One time, two times, three times? Anyone from the council wants to discuss? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 11, ordinance approving the attached servitude agreement between Danny Joseph Perkle, Jared Michael Perkle, and Lafourche Parish Council, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement. Councilman Adams moves for the administration, second by Councilman Jones. Would anyone from the audience like to comment? One time, public two times, public three times. Anyone from the council wants to discuss this? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 12, ordinance providing for a 2019 supplemental appropriation 19-046 within the 2019 operations and maintenance budget and capital budget to create funds 186 and 209 for the Gold Mesa bond proceeds and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Can someone move for me to administration? Moved by Councilman Perillo. Can I get a second? Second by Councilwoman Boudreaux. Would anyone from the public like to comment? One time, two times, three times? Parish President.
I was going to try to save you a step, Mr. Chairman. We'd ask that you guys defer this to the next meeting. We have some concerns about the numbers that are in here. So until Renita and her staff can kind of work out, make sure those numbers are correct, we just like another couple of weeks, if that's okay.
Is there any, this is not a time stamped issue? Okay, Ms. Dylan Boudreaux, would you remove your second? It's removed?
It's removed.
And it's going to be deferred by Councilman Perillo for the administration to the January 28th meeting. We good, Ms. Carleen?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you for that, Mr. Parish President. Item 13, ordinance approving an act of donation between the North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District and Lafourche Parish Government for the donation of one link belt 3400-Q long front and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said donation and any all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Jones for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this? One time, public two times, public three times. Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 14, ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between North Lafourche Conservation Levy and Drainage District and Lafourche Parish Government for the donation of one link belt 3400-Q long front and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Jones for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. Anyone from the public would like to comment on this? One time, two times, three times. Anyone from the council? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. I entertain a motion to close public hearing. Got a motion by Councilman Grove, second by Councilwoman Boudreaux. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Vice Chairman Bo Melvin, would you please read M, proposed ordinances?
Sure. Proposed ordinance. Approve the attached servitude agreement between Luton S. Becknell, Ramona Becknell Tomplay, and Lucas John Becknell, and Lafourche Parish Council, authorizing the parish to sign, execute, and administer said agreement. It's Mr. Adams for the administration. Can I get a motion? Okay. Proposed ordinance approving the holding of an election in the Recreation District Number 11 of the Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, May 9th, 2020, to authorize the levy of a special tax therein. Motion by Mr. Wendell. Proposed ordinance amending and reenacting Section 2:66 of Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances of Parish of Lafourche as it pertains to the parish executive departments. By Mr. Otan. Proposed ordinance to accept the subdivision known as Ranch Trism Trail into the parish system. Bobby, somebody can move for that for me. Thank you, Mr. Otan. Proposed ordinance approving and holding an election, Fire District, Protection District Number 1 of the Lafourche Parish, State of Louisiana, on Saturday, May 9th, 2020, to authorize a levy of a special tax therein. By Mr. Perilou. Proposed ordinance amending ordinance number 6281, which approved the 2020 operations and maintenance capital budget for the Lafourche Parish Council, as well as setting the salaries of unclassified employees as provided by Article 5 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. By Mr. Jones for the administration. I'd like to have a motion to close proposed ordinances.
You don't need a motion, but thank you, that was concise and clear, not quite as fast as Mr. Jones, but you'll get there. With that said, are we good? Anyone needs a recess at this time? We good to continue? All right, we'll continue moving on. Item N, resolutions. Number 21, resolution requesting the administration to advertise for the position of Executive Director of Community Action as recommended by the Lafourche Parish Community Action Advisory Board at their meeting held on December 12, 2019. Moved by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Wendell. Is there any discussion? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 22, resolution reappointing one member to Lafourche Parish Tourist Commission representing the town of Lockport. Can someone move for me for the administration? Mr. Wendell, will you please read the applicant? It's item 1, Lafourche Parish Tourist Commission representing town of Lockport, reappointment. There you go. That's okay.
Lafourche Parish Tourist Commission, representing the town of Lockport, reappointment of one recommendation, Zena Sampe.
Thank you very much. She is a reapplicant. We have a second by Mr. Perilou. Any discussion? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 23, resolution reappointing one member to the Lafourche Parish Tourist Commission representing the city of Thibodaux. Councilman Grove for the administration. Who you got, Councilman Grove?
Mrs. Marguerite Irwin.
Can I get a second for Ms. Marguerite Irwin? A second by Councilman Adams. Any discussion? There being none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 24, resolution appointing two members to Lafourche Parish Commission for Women Board. Councilman Grove for the administration. Who you got, Councilman Grove?
Got two, Ron Sampier and Susanna Simons.
Okay, we have the two applicants. Can I get a second? I got a second by Councilman Adams. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 25, resolution appointing two members on the Head Start Policy Council as community representatives. Councilman Melvin for the administration. Who you got, Councilman Melvin?
Francine Schwest and Misty Perry.
Can I get a second? Second by Councilwoman Boudreaux. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 26, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Mitch Ogeron for the position of parish administrator for the Lafourche Parish government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. This is moved by Councilman Lorraine and Councilman Melvin. They are co-sponsors for the administration. Someone still like to second it? We got a second by Councilman Jones. Before we do any discussion, do you want to does Mr. Mitch like to address the council? You don't have to. I'm just asking. Okay, you have the floor, Mr. Chess, on discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to preface this by saying this is going to apply to each one of the nominees tonight. You know, we didn't pick these ladies and gentlemen because of who they were or if they were buddies. We went and found the most talented people we could to help run this administration. We said all along it was going to take a village to help put us back on the right path, and I think every one of these, the people that you guys are about to vote on, fit that bill. And I can't say over the last 7 days what an asset they've been as we've tried to get this administration off the ground from every facet. And they've caught on for Mitch and Dylan, who are kind of new to the government sector. These guys have warped into light speed and taken off like we could never imagine. So I would appreciate your unanimous support on all these as we hit the ground running.
Very good. Any further discussion? Anyone have any further discussion? We'll move it to a vote. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I just want to echo on Mr. Chasson's, I looked at the resume. In fact, I looked at all of them, and they're all pretty much qualified people to serve. I think it's time that we give the parish president his choice. That's who he wants, and that's who we should give him. And that's just what I'm going to say.
Very good. Thank you for those comments, Mr. Lorraine. We'll now move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Okay, item 27, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Savonia Townsend for the position of Director of Human Resources for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Jones for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. If she is present, she is welcome to address the council if she so desires. She'll pass. Okay. Any discussion by the council?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr. Lorraine.
I just want to say that she was here prior to tonight, and when she was here, she did a good job, so I don't know what took place when she was missing.
Very good for those comments, Mr. Lorraine. We appreciate it. If there's no further discussion, we'll move this to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Congratulations, Mrs. Savonia, and congratulations, Mitch. I forgot to pass it on to you. Congratulations. Okay, item 28, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Renita Jackson for the position of Director of Finance for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Jones for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. And once again, if she's here, she's welcome to address the council, and she's going to pass also. Okay, any discussion, Mr. Lorraine?
I just got to say the same thing I said for Savonia. She was here before, she disappeared, MIA. And she's back. Thank you.
And I'll concur with that. I worked with her and sat in some meetings with her, and she's very, very effective and efficient. So welcome back, hopefully, here. We'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 29, resolution. Congratulations, Ms. Renita. Everyone's glad to see you back. Item 29, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Tony Brewer for the position of Director of Plans and Permits for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Melvin for the administration. A second by Miss Delane Boudreaux. Any discussion? Tony, I'm sure you... Go ahead, Mr. Lorraine.
Wait.
I just wanted to see, Tony, do you want to address the council? You good? Tony's good.
The only thing I want to say is that in the last 4 years, Tony turned this permitting process in this parish around. What was odd about all that, the 4 years before he came, there were a lot of problems. You don't get as many complaints as you used to get, and if you do get them, you get a hold of Tony or a couple of these other people in there, and they'll help you out if they can. But the point I'm trying to make is that he came in the last 4 years, turned it around with the same employees. So that's what kind of got me. But he did it. So I think he needs a unanimous vote also.
Very good. There's no further discussion. We'll move this to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Congratulations, Tony. We look forward to working with you again. Item 30, resolution approving the parish president's appointment of Dylan Barone for the position of Director of Public Works for Lafourche Parish Government and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Melvin for the administration, second by Councilman Paraloo. Dylan, you're also welcome. He'll pass. Mr. Adams.
Yeah, next time wear a tie.
Mr. Lorraine.
Well, it's the last one, so I can't leave him out. I just think I met Dylan. He's a young man. I think he's going to be good. He's aggressive. But I also feel the previous director did a real good job. The 36 years that I served here, he was one of the best. But like I said, in all respect to the parish president, that's what he wants. that's who he wants, maybe Dylan might turn out to be better than the one that was there before, or just as good. Time will tell.
I'm gonna prove you
But
wrong.
I will give you my support.
Mr. Wendell.
I'd like to address Mr. Barone as well as the other four. I didn't speak on them individually. I have had an opportunity to review all their resumes, do a little Facebook stalking, talk to some other people, and everybody spoke of all you guys very highly. So thank you for taking this journey with us and moving Lafourche forward. Thank you.
Yes, and the reason you see a lot more comments in the position of Dylan is a very complicated position, possibly the most difficult in the entire parish. He gets all the complaints from our residents. He's responsible for bridges and roads and pump stations and levees and all our drainage woes, and of which we were set up for failure a long time ago. And some of the barriers that exist, it's impossible to get over them. Just because there are servitudes that end and go into other people's properties. So it's a very, very difficult position, and hopefully he's capable as the last director to work with all the council members. He was very efficient at that. Mr. Lorraine.
It's a tough job, but it's good when the sun is shining.
I'll concur, because come April, May, and June, that's the most brutal time of the year. Mr. Grove.
I just wanted to echo some of the comments about the previous Public Works Director. I mean, it was a class act and got everything done and told you honestly if he couldn't get it done. So I look forward to working with you. You know, I like when a coach wants to build his own team and welcome aboard. You know, I think he'll do a good job.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage you to use him as a huge resource, because he was able to play both sides of the fence for 4 years. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Okay, any further discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Congratulations, Dylan. We all look forward to work with you. We all want your home phone number, because you, once again, you're going to be the guy. Okay, item 31, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the LSU Ag Center and Lafourche Parish government to support and administer Louisiana cooperative units off campus, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Grove for the administration, second by Councilman Adams. Any discussion by the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 32, resolution approving a lease agreement between the Warren J. Harang Jr. Municipal Auditorium and Lafourche Parish Government Office of Community Action for quarterly commodity distribution in 2020, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Perilou for the administration, second by Councilman Wendell.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Jones, you got the floor.
At this time, I'd like to call the Community Action Advisory Board President up.
We will welcome him to address the council if he so desires. I'm sorry. Absolutely. If you don't mind, just we need to make sure the mic is on so we can pick you up, your comments, and just, if you don't mind, name and address for the record.
Yes, good evening. My name is Constance Johnson, the councilwoman for the city, and I'm very humble and honored to serve as the Community Action President. Are there any questions for me?
Very good.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Ms. Johnson, we had a meeting December 12th, and we got this contract on the agenda now, but I don't remember it being on the advisory board agenda. Do you recommend we approve this, or advisory board need to look at it?
The contract for what?
This is the lease agreement with the big auditorium in Thibodeau.
Civic Center.
The Civic Center.
Okay, I am not clear with that. I've not spoken to anyone regarding it, and we did have a meeting in December that I thought we should have. And of course, our next meeting is in February. I felt because of the fact that mainly our board is going to attend a conference in January, and I felt that we needed to meet back in February to discuss anything that was not brought forth in December. So I am not aware of anything of this type that was brought forth at the meeting.
So what's happening in this resolution is we're approving, this council is approving for the parish president to sign a lease agreement. It sounds like, because this is probably a time dated thing, that if this could be worked out, if we approved it, you could still work it out with, if there's any issues or whatever, it could be rediscussed. Is that correct, Mr. Jones?
No, Mr. Chairman, the advisory board need to play an effect of all the CSBG
Understood.
Right.
money. If we want to do the thing right, let's go to the advisory board. We don't need to be getting into this behind the back stuff. Go to the advisory board, do the right procedures, and we won't have any problem.
Understood. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Constance.
I do agree. I believe if we are going to start off 2020 on a positive note and to make certain that community action function on the level it should, especially under the new leadership of our parish president and the board as well, we must start off on a positive note. I believe that honesty is the best policy. If we're going to serve our people in this community, we need to make certain that anything that the board need to review or see or handle appropriately should be brought before the board.
Understood. Councilman Grow.
Mr. Jones, you don't see, I mean, we just got this, so you didn't see anything that's different from the previous contract? You just concerned with that it didn't pass through them, which is the right thing to do, right?
Actually, I didn't even look at the contract, Mike, but it's the right thing to do. We want to start off on the right foot. Let's do the right thing.
And if we need to call a special meeting in regards to a time constraint, that's not a problem. But I do believe, as Councilman Jones has said, I believe it should be deferred.
Understood. Councilman Pearlou.
Yeah, I'm approached a lot of times to sponsor things for different entities such as Community Action. I would ask the administration maybe to intervene in this process to make sure, because it's people in the administration that ask me to sponsor things sometimes. So I would ask the administration maybe to get with the personnel that are putting these things forward and bounce it or go through Community Action Board before presenting it to the council members for sponsorship, if possible. Thank you.
Very good, Mr. Pearlou. Councilman Wendell.
Ms. Johnson, are you aware of when your planned next quarterly commodity distribution is?
I do have a list of the dates.
Okay. By us not approving this tonight, that's not going to cause any problem with distributing
No, it will not.
commodities, is it? Okay. That's all I have.
And in conjunction with that, is there any possibility of the Civic Center saying, well, okay, y'all didn't renew it, so it wouldn't come to the table? Is that a possibility? No? Councilman Lorraine.
Yes, I think the commodities are going to be distributed in South Lafourche this time, then Racing, then Thibodeau, so you got plenty of time. It's just a formality, and I can tell you, I attend those meetings, and since Ms. Costin took over as president, it has changed plenty. And what they want to do, instead of just railroading this in tonight, they want to do it right. It needs to go to the advisory board, then the council. There were a lot of things in the past that needed to go to the advisory board, never got there and came to this council. But if you would attend the meetings and find out what's going on and see, then you would know. But I got to tip my hat to her, and I don't even have a hat. She's turned it around. And it looks like everybody's coming together on that.
Very good. Another point of question, in the terms of this lease agreement, I mean, is it still effective until it's broken or not? Many lease agreements are. I don't know the specific terms of this one. Do you know, Mr. President?
No, this one expired at the end of 2019 with the last administration.
So it doesn't, so we may have to go in there and renegotiate with the Civic Center if need be.
And it's really just it's a flat fee for the room rental, and then we pay for the dumpster and any custodians that they need.
I recall us discussing that. Okay. Councilman Wendell, you got a follow-up?
Yes, I'd like to remove my second, so Mr. Pearlou can defer if needed.
So we have, he has removed his second. Mr. Pearlou, you remove your motion. So we'll just pull it because it can be rewritten. We don't need to defer it. We good, Ms. Corleen? Very good. Thank you for attending. We hope to see you many more times.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very good. For those who don't know, it's been a problem child, and she's going to get this thing straight along with Mr. Jones and the people that help him. So we look forward to getting that particular part of our parish moving forward. Item 33, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Morris P. Abear Incorporated for municipal separate storm sewer systems, MS4 permit consulting services, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Jones for the administration. Got a second by Councilman Grow. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 34, resolution approving change order number 1 to the project titled Raceland Rodeo Arena Electrical Upgrades and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Pearlou for the administration. Can I get a second? Second by Councilman Wendell. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 35, resolution approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the Board of Supervisors of Louisiana State University and Agricultural and Mechanical College to provide services to Lafourche Parish Animal Shelter for the year 2020, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Pearl for the administration. Got a second by Councilman Melvin. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 36, resolution amending resolution number 19-062 and stating that any two of the following people are authorized to sign all checks issued by the Lafourche Parish Clerk of Court Office from the juror and witness fee account located at the Capital One Bank, formerly Hibernia National Bank, Ms. Annette Fontana. This removes Ms. Kylie Kleber. This adds Ms. Brianne M. DeRoche, Ms. Angela H. Claymore, or Ms. Tara A. Lede, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Grove for the administration, second by Councilman Jones. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 37, resolution approving cooperative endeavor agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Moved by Councilman Pearl for the administration, and second by Councilwoman Boudreaux. Discussion. Mr. Lorraine.
Yeah, I'd like for y'all to defer this, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the 4th paragraph and the 5th paragraph, it says, whereas the Lafourche Parish government will pay $1,174 per month to the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs to support the cost to operate and maintain the Veterans Services offices provided for all utilities, as well as 31.84% of phone and internet service costs. I don't have a problem with that. Anything the veterans need, they deserve to get. The problem I have is on the next paragraph, it says, whereas the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs shall ensure that the Thibodeau office is staffed on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and the Matthews office is staffed on Tuesdays and Thursdays, excluding holidays and training period. What about South Lafourche? We have veterans in South Lafourche, gentlemen. So we got 5 days and we don't even get an office open in South Lafourche. I think they probably got more veterans in South Lafourche than in the rest of the parish.
Yeah, I object to that. You got veterans throughout this
I'm
parish.
just
All our
asking-
veterans are
I
special,
caught
not
this.
just down the by. Everybody, Daniel, everybody.
Yes, but I caught this. Why can't we get a day? I think you need to redo it and give South Lafourche a day. We have a complex down the bayou, and we have a Veterans Memorial District that they could use that building, I'm sure.
Agreed, and I would encourage you to have your veterans group down the bayou engage the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. This is not between us and them. This is between them, and we can get on board with that. I don't think anybody would object to them going down there by any means, but let's not stop this process.
I'm just asking to defer it for 2 weeks till the next meeting so we can correct it.
I'll continue. Anybody else wants to discuss this? Mr. Chesson.
Councilman Lorraine, we can reach out to the Office of Veterans Affairs and ask them if they would go down the bayou, but we have no control over, we're not sending any of our employees. It's state employees that are going down there. So I don't know how to force them to open up an office for you in Galliano.
Right, but we're paying for it. It just looks odd that you got 5 days of service and none of it is in South Lafourche.
So what do we do in 2 weeks if they say we're not going to Galliano?
We can ask.
But I can ask, and we can always amend the agreement later on down the road. Why stop it tonight?
Well, that's fine if you want to do that.
I can do that.
You know, if they say no, it's no, but I think you did very well in South Lafourche.
Very good, Mr. Lorraine. Mr. Lorraine points out excellent comments, and I would strongly encourage either the parish president or Mr. Lorraine to engage the Veterans District down the bayou. They do have a lot of power, and they have a lot of stroke there. That's a good group of guys down there, and I think they can possibly get something done with Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs.
Well, when I read this, I said, it just doesn't sink in. You know, always say we're going to look at the whole parish, but it seems like we left out on quite a few occasions.
And for those who don't know, there is a Veterans District located in, down in, I guess you could call it it'd be the 8th and 9th Ward, District 8 and District 9. I think that's where it stops at. And they do collect a millage, a sizable millage, so I know they have some power to engage.
No, it's not a sizable millage. It's not even 1 mil. And these guys also take veterans or the wives that serve. They'll take them to Mississippi. They'll take them to Texas, wherever they need to go. But it's a tax that was passed in that general area. This is a parish-wide issue, and we're being left out.
Understood. Okay, any further discussion on this? If not, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes by a vote of 9-0, but we do still encourage that talk. Thank you, Mr. Parish President, for listening to that. Okay, item O, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, or Managers Report, Presentations, and or updates. Number 38, a representative from the Department of Public Works will present a monthly report as per ordinance 6036. Will there be any reports tonight?
Yeah, he has one if you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Now
have
that
the
he's
floor.
legal, he can give it.
Yep, you have the floor.
Okay, this is going to be very similar to what you saw at the last council meeting and the previous DPW presentations. This is on Eclair Drive, digging ditches and cleaning culverts on District 1. Maywood Place, digging ditches. Crane Lane, we installed a larger culvert in that area. Fairfield Drive, repair concrete culvert. Wintergreen Street, digging ditches. By the way, if y'all have any questions during this, I can try to answer them. Some of these were done, obviously, prior to me being here, but we can talk through it if need be. District 4, La Belle Maison, this is the installation of a driveway culvert. Lafourche bypass pump, we put dirt around the discharge pipe. Lafourche bypass road, we repaired a cave-in. You can see it's sloughed in on that side. Thoroughbred Park Drive, digging ditches before and after. Asselane Street, we put down limestone. D. Dupre Street, cleaning ditches before and after. Gabriel Street, putting down coal mix before and after. Linda Street, putting down coal mix before and after. Conn Street, cleaning roadside ditches before and after. St. Anne Street, outfall, west side swept before and after. North Willow Street, swept ditches before and after. This is the outfall behind the Broadway Living Center, before and after. East 6th Street, we swept ditches, as you can see, before and after. East 7th Street, cleaning culverts. East 22nd Street, cleaning culverts. East 59th Street, swept ditches before and after. East 71st Street, installed culvert driveway. West 57th Street, swept ditches before and after. West 83rd Street, replaced collapsed culvert. If you look, it's actually a little further down. The before picture shows slightly forward. The after picture shows the concrete driveway pass. If you look to the garbage cans in the before. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. West 93rd Street. It's just a street repair before, and the next slide is going to be after. This is the Errol Sheremy property. We dug a new ditch before and after. This is a repair of a broken swing arm in the Galliana Bridge before and after. West 136th Street, swept outfall before and after. West 163rd Street, swept ditches and shred trees. Again, a before and after. And that's it. Any questions?
Mr. Melvin, you have the floor.
Hey, thanks, Dylan. Great job, man. Good pictures, and you don't have to wear a tie, okay? Trust me.
Appreciate that.
Okay, real quick, I know that Parish President-elect at the time, Archie Chasson and I, and the then DPW Director, were meeting with some gentlemen, some farmers on Highway 1 in Raceland. There's a gentleman there, Andre Dan Austin, a lot of some drainage in the area, drains onto his property and kind of overruns, and he's flooding away at the front. And I just wanted to address it publicly so that we can look at it with him, again, to address it now that these changes have been made with this administration. Again, we're just trying to clean out a few ditches to the
Yeah.
40, get a few right-of-ways done that maybe need to be addressed.
We've actually met with Mr. Andre last week, and
Perfect.
right-of-way's being worked on, his attorney's reviewing it, and we're gonna get started on it as soon as his attorney accepts it.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Just question, the Arrow Jeremy, is that Arrow's that probably he's been fighting since like 2016 to get it's finally got done? I guess the right of way was approved. You know, Mr. Lorraine, on that one?
It's been a long-going deal, but they finally got to it. I mean, there's just so
glad.
many of them.
Yeah, I'm
All I
glad.
do, all the years I've been in, is just start over and go back and do some of them. That's all you can do.
It's one of the more difficult items, Dylan, is the private versus public drainage. Which ones you do and which ones you don't. That's
Yes,
been
sir.
a challenge for me in talking to my constituents, because most people want their ditches dug to the 40s and it doesn't serve any public purpose, but they still pay taxes, so it's, you kind of get caught, and then a lot of time it's one property that maybe drains on them. So anyway, we had talked about maybe forming a committee and discussing this and going back and look at all the right-of-ways that we have and which ones we should continue, but that's a very difficult topic. But thank you for that presentation. No one else has any questions? Thanks again, Dylan.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. It won't happen many times. Item P, questions for the administration. Questions for the administration?
I just got a real quick one.
Go ahead, Mr.
And
Melvin.
I've never asked this in my 4 years, but look, I know this building is probably backed up by generator, correct? Okay, because I don't see any emergency lights, and I'm just wondering what happens in this room if we lose power. I mean, it's kick on in the whole building? Okay, thank you. Safety question.
You always got some firefighters. We'll get you out of here. Chris is still in here. Okay, any other questions for the administration? We'll move to item Q, council reports, presentations, updates, and/or questions. We have Mr. Mike, hold on one second, Mr. Lorraine, if you don't mind. Mr. Mike Groh would like to sit on this committee, and it is called it's for the MPO representation. I would like for someone to maybe nominate Mr. Groh to serve on that committee. We got a motion by Councilman Jones, second by Councilman Melvin. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 9-0. So thank you for serving on that committee, Mr. Groh. It is a very important committee. Thank you for reminding me of that, Ms. Corleen. More council reports, presentations. Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor.
Yeah, I see that, I saw earlier Miss Lynette Fontana, the clerk of court, was here, and I see Mr. Boudreaux's here, and I see the mayor of Lafourche here. I'd appreciate it if you would recognize him.
Absolutely.
I didn't leave anybody out.
Yeah, I'm always careful because there are sometimes, like with the inaugural, the swearing in, there's so many people. But we do have the mayor of the town of Lockport, Mayor Ed Reinhardt. We also have his DPW guy, Mr. Ernest Boudreaux. Is Annette still here? We have new state representative Reggie Bagala in the house. We have Miss Sheila Boudreaux with the Civil Service Group. She's the guru and the go-to for that. Mr. Boudreaux is here for any questions you may have in terms of voting, and he's usually always present and around. Who am I missing?
Finance Department.
Well, she's already been recognized. Who else?
Finance Department.
The entire Finance Department is here. So thank y'all. And I see some other architects. I see Mr. Plaisance in the back. Who? I did. Anybody else? Any of y'all would like to address the council? I will certainly entertain it right now if any of y'all would like to. You want to come up? Absolutely, Mayor. Please do. Just state your name and address for the record, and this will be under my council report, so I'm going to push
My name is Ed Ronhart, Mayor of Lockport, 607 School Street. I just want to congratulate you all of y'all for y'all being elected, and hopefully that we'll be meeting soon, and try to get, a few problems that we've been having, and we can talk about it, maybe, and get some things moving forward for our town, because that's what it's about, moving forward, even the parish. Appreciate it. I want to thank Mr. Lorraine over here. He really put me in a lot of right directions, and I appreciate that. And only we see me soon, because we got to make some things happen. That's what we're about. So congratulations to all y'all, and thank y'all for everything.
You got it. Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else would like to address at this point? Okay. Anyone else have anything at council reports? Mr. Pearl, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to welcome our new colleagues on the council. I'm so happy to have you guys here to work with to move the parish forward. welcome Parish President, and I think we're all thrilled about that. And also the new department heads, we so look forward to working with all of you. And let's do it for Lafourche, for everybody.
Okay, I was hoping somebody would make a comment about LSU. I'm gonna leave it. Go ahead, Mr. Melvin.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm a proud Nichols graduate, but being from LaRose, even though I represent Thibodeau and Raceland, look, we all know what happened last night, and it was such an amazing thing to see, and it really was redemptive from our 2011 pancake, okay? And I think that Coach O, we don't have to say he does wonderful things and a great representation. We know he's been put through the fire. Can't say that much enough about his players and his whole system he has, and that he is from right here in Lafourche Parish. And we know that there's some other special people that we have in Lafourche Parish, maybe not as well known. So that's a wonderful thing of what we have here in Lafourche Parish.
No, absolutely, and actually the area has been inundated with news people. I got a call that they were at the Double D trying to find Ms. Coco's home location. So that's he brings a lot. He's brought a lot of recognition to Lafourche Parish, and it was stated over and over last night. Mr. Adams.
Yeah, I would like to ask Parish President about a Coach O parade.
Very good. And so if no one else has anything, I will also report, I'm happy to report that Lafourche Parish Fire Protection District Number 2 retained their Class 5 rating under the Property Insurance Association of Louisiana's schedule, and that is under the new schedule. It was the first rating for them. So I'm proud to say that, and I want to thank Lafourche Parish Water District Number 1, both their employees and their Board of Commissioners, because they provide a large percentage of that, as well as the Lafourche Parish 911 employees and their Board of Commissioners, because they provide a lot of the rating portion. Additionally, Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office, dispatch, as well as the sheriff. The sheriff provides at no cost dispatching services for many of the volunteer fire departments throughout the parish. So we're thankful because he contributed to our rating. I want to thank the Lockport Police Department and the police chief, because there's a lot of things that rating works off of them. They work in conjunction with the fire department. And lastly, I want to thank the 150 plus members of the Lockport Volunteer Fire Department, which is 100% volunteers manning 6 stations, and for maintaining that rating in a volunteer capacity. So thank you. I'm very proud of that. With that said, we're going to end with Mr. Parish President.
No, once again, guys, thank you for the unanimous support of all the department heads. And just to let you guys know, we begin to work on a lot of things that we talked about over the last 15 months as far as tax reform and economic development. You'll be seeing some agreements on some upcoming agendas to get some of that off and moving. And there's a huge contingent of Louisiana going to Washington, D.C. next week. And we will be leading some meetings on some GOMESA funding to help increase not only raising the cap on that, but increasing the revenue stream from 37 to 50%, as well as working with our delegation to help Henri secure the last $150 million from USDOTD for the last section of the Elevated Highway 1 project. So we'll be up there next week working for Lafourche.
Very good. I don't want to forget, I want to wish a happy birthday to my 1-year-old grandson on January 25th. He hits 1, so my daughter will be proud that I mentioned that. So Bentley Gongeron hits 1 January 25th. I do not want to neglect recognizing Mr. Jones for the year as vice chair. There are many times that you get called either for signing checks or you're out of town, and he took care of business. So thank you, Mr. Jones. I appreciate it. You're a good man. Any further discussion? There being none, I have a motion by Councilwoman Boudreaux to adjourn, second by Councilman Melvin. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes with the vote of 9-0, and the meeting ends at 18:45. Thank you, Ms.